Hi Aries. For this general reading, we're going to be discussing anybody out there who believes they may have psychic abilities who is an Aries. So I think there's a lot of people out there with gifts. You know, psychic abilities can range in regards to being extremely intuitive, to the point where it's like you just knew this was going to happen, or you just knew this person was like this, or you knew this person's intentions were like this, or you knew this situation was going to go down like this, and then those things like 9 out of 10 times happen. But it's like that one time when it doesn't happen like that, I think sometimes we can get easily what's the word I'm looking for right now? Like, we just feel discouraged almost. Like, we just feel like, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm not intuitive. Maybe I don't know better, things like that. I think that's when our ego comes into play and we're just like easily misled by others. Because I think in life, a lot of people just don't like to take accountability for the things they do that we pick up on. Especially as Aries, like, we call people out real quick, right? And it's like like, we don't look at conversations as confrontational, but depending where we're at in our evolution, we may go about it in a confrontational type of way, or we may not be confrontational at all. It's just a lot of people, a majority of society considers conversations to be confrontational. There is a difference, and it's like you can try to have this conversation with people, and most people just like have trouble accepting that whole idea. And no matter what I say, whatever I say doesn't matter. I think you guys should go with whatever you believe in, your thoughts, all that good stuff. But I just don't want anyone out there to ever get discouraged, because I think a majority of my life as an Aries, I was always like 9 out of 10 times on point. And then it's like the only reason I think those other times I was off was because I let other people's deception get the best of me, because of those other times where I actually believed them, like, oh, this must be in my head. And then it's like I would think back to those situations and compare it to like a present situation. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I think as a fire sign, it's important for you guys to not get a big head, because Aries, we physically usually literally have a big head. So it's hard for us to balance these things, but I think we're more than capable of it. I think we're meant to be capable of it. So yeah, and I think it's not even just that, the whole intuitive factor, or like what is it called, a premonition? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's so much more than that. There's also clairaudient out there. There's being able to make people feel good just by touching them. Like, there are things out there that I think a lot of people aren't aware of. So yeah, let's just get to it, because I'll just keep talking. So I'm going to start pulling cards. I don't want to look at the cards just yet. I want to channel and just see like what gifts you guys may have, where you guys may be at currently with these gifts, and where maybe these gifts are taking you, or like what maybe you're supposed to do if you want to, because it's all about free will. You don't have to do these things. Usually when you have a gift, it means you're a healer. It usually means you're meant to do something with it, but you don't have to. Sometimes gifts make people uncomfortable. I know I'm personally still dealing with mine, and like coming to accept mine and growing to love it, honestly. But it's hard when you're not used to that type of lifestyle. It really depends how you were raised. So, Aries, general psychic reading. Where are you guys at with your gifts? Do you guys have gifts? For Aries, we have gifts. We're known for being intuitive. Do you guys have psychic abilities? Are you guys clairaudient? Are you guys... Can you guys see things? I think also another thing about having gifts, sometimes we think we want gifts, right? Like sometimes like when things happen, we're like, oh, I wish I knew, I wish I knew, I wish I had that information. It's like, but do you? Because sometimes it's like, that's how people don't manifest properly. And when I say manifest properly, like you don't end up manifesting the things you want. You manifest the things you don't want, because subconsciously it's like you're actually afraid of those things. Because maybe deep down you know, like, things around you aren't as they seem, things like that. But not everything's negative, right? So I'm going to start channeling. I want some crystals. I want some pretty crystals. Look at this. Ugh, love that shit. And I love it. Something sparkly. Okay. Aries, do you have gifts? General reading for my Aries. Are you guys psychic? Do you guys have psychic abilities? Like, what's up? What's the deal? I feel like something about your head being like cracked open. I'm not really fully seeing this, but I'm partially seeing it, but I'm feeling it more so. Like something, like maybe you guys are beginning to go with your intuition more and you're seeing better results from that. Maybe you've been skeptical of it in the past, and it's like, I think that's another thing as an Aries is like, people around us always want to ground us, and that's for reason. I think everything's intentional. I think we signed up, like the people we're friends with and all that, the people we're learning from, like we have soul contracts with those people. And I think it is important as a fire sign to be grounded in some type of way, but always remember that like we're a fire sign for a reason. That's important. And other signs and wherever they're at in their own evolution, some people don't realize that. But sometimes their intention is just to help. Do you guys have psychic abilities? I almost feel like you guys are beginning to tap into things that are beneath the surface within your mind. Like you guys can connect to things outside of you. Either it's not too clear just yet, either other realms or outside energies. Like, so what I mean by that is if somebody says no, but they really mean yes, like you would know. But it's not just ego speaking for you. It's like you're tapping into something else. And this is because of gifts that you were gifted in this life. I'm seeing so much energy radiate from your hands. And I feel like that's another thing too. I don't know if this part is accurate, so definitely don't quote me. But I heard healers have really warm hands. That I don't know. So again, do not quote me on that one. I have not looked into that myself. Something about your hands and healing. And yeah, I think you guys do. What's coming through is, you know, it's either your energy or it's not, or, you know, always take what resonates and leave the rest. That's what they say in general readings, right? And the reason they say that is because it's who's ever watching the video. You guys all don't have the same things going on at once. So you guys got to keep that in mind. So whoever this applies to, I am seeing somebody here being able to connect to the other side. you know, whatever that looks like to you. If it's just deceased loved ones. But I consider when you have access to that, that you have access to all other realms. And, you know, I'm not going to step on anybody's toes in regards to my own belief system, what I believe that is, but I don't believe that's just what we think it is, just the deceased, and that's it. Like, no, definitely not. I think there's so much more. So what I'm saying is I think you have access to the Akashic records. I think that's one for starters, and, you know, however else you want to word it. But yeah, I think you have access to, I think you have access. There is a difference. You hear it? So it's, you may not be using these gifts, but you have access, and you may feel it intuitively. That's what I feel. You may have information from past lives in regards to psychic abilities. So you may just know things without really knowing. Like, you may just understand how things work. Like, for example, what I just said, I believe you have access to other realms. Do we have proof that there's other realms out there? Like, how many realms, and what's in these realms? Are we talking about humans? Are we talking about, you know, what do you call those, extraterrestrial beings? I'm talking about, yeah, that, but also no, so much more than that. Star seeds, Pleiadians, not even just that. And it's just like, do I know? No, but I know. There's kind of like that type of information coming through where it's just like, you know, something exists beyond you. That's from past life energy. Possibly witnessing it at one time, experiencing it, because there is a knowing, a confirmation of knowing. And that's why there's like this gut feeling of just knowing there's something in there in the cosmos, however you want to look at it. Do you have you may be able to make things physically move. If you focus your intent on it. So this is, you know, I don't think everybody believes in these types of things, but I'm gonna open my eyes because I feel like we can look at the cards now. So with bringing, what is the term I'm looking for? Paranormal activity, bringing those things into like the 3D planes, everyday living. That's Uranus energy. That's like kind of like the scientist type of outlook of it. Can you bring that into reality for people to see? Yeah, there really are people out there. It's just, you know, I think there's a lot of ways of looking at that. Number one, are they alive? I'm just kidding, kind of. Are they in labs? You know, do they speak about their gifts? Do they feel comfortable about their gifts? I mean, if you think about it, right? Because that's going, if you are able to do things and move things with your mind, or do anything physically based off of gifts, spiritual gifts, whatever you want to call it, that's literally going the opposite. That changes everything as to everything we've ever been taught in this life. And that could really freak people out and make people not want to talk about it, or make people not know what to do about it. And if you think about it, like, okay, what are you going to do with that? I think people think, like, they create this whole scenario in their head when they see these movies, like, oh, what would you do? What would you do? And it's like, yeah, but what would you do? Herbal allies. Okay. I'm going to have to look at the little booklet for these cards. But I really feel like this is, you see the triangle? And then there's the roots. I feel like this is that higher knowing. Because when I think of herbal allies, I'm thinking of like herbal medicines. So I feel like this is just that knowing, divine knowledge from past lives, where it's like you may not have proof of these things, but you just know what you know and you can't really explain it. To send an invitation. Yeah, I feel like, okay, so when I see invitation, I think of a few things. Number one, just send it. I look at this as like your shadow. You know how we're always talking about that yin yang factor? Well, when you look at your natal chart, your blueprint in astrology, it's that circle, right? And you think of yin yang, you think of like the S and the two circles and the black and the white. The whole goal to life is balance, right? Shadow and light. It's not just like everybody has this warped perception of like, you got to be this great person. You got to be your best version of yourself. And like, yeah, 1000%. You can't do that without your shadow. It's like, what do you think the whole point of yin yang is? And I'm saying it like in an asshole type of way. I don't mean to, because it's like, I learned this too. But I think we get to this point in our lives where we try to, I think especially as Aries, everybody's always reminding us of our shadow. And it's like, it just needs to come into balance. So what I'm trying to say is, I feel like to get to your light, you have to understand your shadow. I really feel like this is more talking about the past, right? Because what creates a shadowy trait is something from the past. I think these cards always take on different meanings. And when I'm talking about your shadow and descendant and the past and shadowy trait, I don't mean like anything bad. I just think like it's talking about an invitation from information from the past that you have access to. Balance. Sorry, but like my ego's coming through. I love it. Yeah. So with the rising sign in our chart, a lot of people have this misconception of, the rising sign being your mask and this is like fake, and that's so not true. If you think about like when you first meet somebody, like you don't expect to meet them and you meet them and the way you act, like, okay, yeah, there's truth to the whole, like they're only meeting your rising sign. They have to meet the rest of your chart eventually, right? But the rising sign, it comes naturally to you, does it not? And then when you look up the Kylo, sorry. When you look up the energy in your midhaven, this is, obviously one of many things, but the thing I'm going to talk about right now is it's the mask at work. It's not just the mask at work, but it's also supposed to be your mask once you figure out your purpose, like your career. Sorry, got distracted. So that, when you think about that, when you go into work, right? Pretend you didn't figure out your purpose yet. All the jobs you've ever had, even if you got the one job still, that mask right when you clock the fuck in, tell me that's effort. Okay, now think about, let's say if I have individuals who are watching this who have found their passion. First off, good for you. Good for you. No, seriously though, that's pretty sweet. Good for you guys. But that, even though it's going to come effortlessly, there's still some type of effort in that energy in that house, wherever your midhaven is. Okay. So my point with this balance is that the rising sign, whatever that is on that side of the chart, again, the yin yang, that's not fake. I wish people would, and again, I'm calling myself out because I was that person too, literally. But I took the time to figure out the information, and it's literally the overall energy that speaks about your soul in your own story, in your life, in this journey. So like, just giving you an example, like a rising Libra, which is me, this is somebody who's told from a child, from a young age, to do things to make other people happy all the time. And I think to some perspective, I mean, I don't know, maybe I just haven't met, I've met tons of different people, but I was going to say, like, not everybody's life is like that, but maybe a majority of people's are. But to what extent? Like, to my extent growing up, it was like crazy, 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 crazy. And, you know, the people in my life who I grew up with would not agree with that, but I don't really care. I don't really care. So I feel like this is what balances you out in this current incarnation and the past life incarnation. I really do. I feel like it's like the rising sign is when you're rising from the ashes, from like that past life energy, and then it's playing a big serious role in this current life. Speaks about your journey as to why you are the way you are. And it has to do a lot with your past life incarnation as well. So I feel like it has to come into balance with your shadow and your light. Because it's old information that you have, like old wisdoms. And then it's like, how can you align this with new wisdoms? Because it's like, even me, like sometimes I even say the things I say and I'm like, I just know. And it's like, well, that's not going to work in 2022. Like, especially with psychic stuff, like psychics aren't respected anymore. They're just not. Like, yeah, there's a certain community that respects them, but it's not like how it used to be in history. Okay, let's move on. Entwined. I feel like this is the access you have to other realms. And I almost feel like I'm seeing like that Kundalini type of imagery. I mean, I'm not going to go that far, like, and say that that's what it is. But it's just like, I feel like you're one with other realms. I really do. Like, this was that Akashic Records type of thing. And not just that, but so much more. Saturn structure. Oh my gosh. So Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. This is earth energy. This is grounding energy. I feel like I mentioned this. Oh. I did mention this about being a fire sign. What did I say about this part? Hold on. I'm beginning to forget. Challenging time. Okay. Guys, you got to forgive me. I remember... Yikes. I remember channeling this part where it was like the fire energy in us that not everybody's going to agree with. People are going to try to like tame us. They're going to try to like, honestly, you guys probably have this to some degree. Try to control us. And those people, the soul contracts that we have, they're meant to get us to where we need to go. Because, you know, we're a fire sign. We're meant to create. So when it comes to psychic abilities, like I said before, it's like, it's not really overall respected. Like, you guys may be into this stuff because you're watching it, you know, and tarot, of course, has increased, I think, in sales since COVID in 2020. And again, that has a lot to do with the transits and what was going on in the cosmos at the time, and like people tapping into their psychic abilities or their spiritual abilities, whatever you want to call it. And it all makes sense, seeing as what happened back in 2020, right? So I feel like the soul contracts that you guys have, it's supposed to, it gives you access to other people's energies, but they may block this out until you know, right? Like, because remember how I was talking about how, like, you tap into other realms, okay? And you may, I don't want to say call people out, although that's an Aries thing, but it's like you may be saying like, oh, I think this is what's going on, or I think you feel this, or is this? And then people may say no, because it's like it makes people uncomfortable. That's technically not okay, right? That's confrontational. But that's supposed to push you to trust in your intuition, because the second you start trusting your intuition, you're going to start seeing more results from that. Like, oh yeah, I knew that was the case, or yeah, I knew that's what was up. I swear to you on everything. It's like these type of things make other people uncomfortable. This type of energy makes society uncomfortable. But who cares? Because I'll tell you why. When you actually start following what your soul's purpose is, and let's just say it's involved, a part of it is involved in following your intuition so it guides you to where you need to go. It's going to align you with the people and the places you need to be entwined with. Okay? So if you just do that, if you just speak your truth, or, you know, whatever these confrontational things are, even when people deny the truth, and if you just continue knowing, but always keep an open mind. I'm always going to say that. My Capricorn energy is going to come through right now. Always keep an open mind. Don't be a stubborn Aries and be like, no, I know. Listen to what people always have to say. Always hear people out. Because sometimes things aren't as they may seem. That's very important. But then distinguish from, you know, what's actually happening action-wise versus what they're saying. I hope that's making sense. But anyway, it's like once you listen to the guidance you're being given from other realms, it's like it's going to lead you, it's going to give you more access to these abilities because you trusted yourself and because you trusted the universe. I hope that made sense. I derailed a little bit. Okay, morning song. Oh, I like that. Morning song. First house, arrival. What did I say? Rising sign, heart chakra. I really like this. Oh, look, and I have the heart crystal. Okay, so I'm going to channel this. Morning song, first house. This is just like beautiful. I feel like I just see passion. Okay. Where are you at with your psychic abilities? Do you have psychic abilities? You know what I'm seeing? Imagery, the glyph for Mercury. Mercury rules Virgo energy. It rules Gemini energy. It rules the mind, your thought process, how you speak, the conversations you have. That's interesting. So Mercury is turning into Jack in the Box. That's creepy. Jack in the Box, and then it changes to somebody with headphones on. So Jack in the Box is a character, I don't know if you guys know, on the West Coast. It's like a fast food place, but I'm seeing that character. Mercury then turns into Jack in the Box, and then it turns into somebody with headphones. Do you have psychic abilities? If you think so, then you do. It's almost as if like you can manifest it. If you want it, it's there. Jack in the box. You know what happens with the Jack in the box? It just I'm gonna open my eyes. It's like and it's like it could be a beautiful thing. It could be like a morning song. And I don't know why I keep thinking like Venus energy when I see this. Like I just see these beautiful pink flowers, the heart chakra, the headphones. This was definitely that like. And Jack in the Box also, I think of, you know, the first house, you know, this is how you pop up in the world. And I just remembered another thing that I had seen, that you can make things tangible, entwined, structure, challenging times. That's also another thing most people in society don't like. It makes them uncomfortable when you can do things. So all of it needs to come to balance. Because I think that's another thing, one of our problems, and I'm going to say it's a problem as an Aries, it's like one extreme to the next. If we could just balance that energy, beautiful. Oh, the headphones. Can you not? What goes on? I swear this town is so loud. What time is it? Okay. So anyway, guys, trying to think what I got for you. Oh, I see now. Mercury. This is what I was seeing. Morning song. This is why it turned into headphones. Heart chakra. I think if you guys follow your intuition, it'll ignite your heart chakra. It'll ignite your passions. And maybe you never felt this way or ever even considered it or thought about it. But I think there's something there. And it probably has to do with the fact that fire signs are meant to create. So maybe this will help you create in some type of way. Trying to think if there's anything else. I'll channel one more time. They keep showing me, like, I'm seeing you stare at, it's supposed to be this card. Like, you're just looking at it and you're just standing. And I almost feel like it's like the choice is yours with free will. And you know what? It's this big circle, and I feel like it's access to other realms. And you know what the circle turns into? Your eye looking back at you. And then the eye in the background, like the eye becomes see-through, and it's in the cosmos. And things are coming from the eye, shooting at you. Like in a good way. Wait, a hand just came through. It's holding something. It looks like a blow dryer. Oh, pues. A blow dryer. Here. I just can't help but think things were coming out of the eye. So it's almost as if, like, maybe if you follow your gut, follow where you feel like your intuition is guiding you, it may ignite these water-like feelings, you know, healing energy. And I feel like almost like that's why, like, a blow dryer was coming out, like, to dry your tears, but like good tears. So yeah, that's what I got for you, Aries. I hope that helped. I hope that resonated.